Hello and welcome to GrassChat's actual GrassChat, where we're on our third video now, and this is where I have a guest and we sit down and discuss all things Autograss and a little bit more. I'm pleased to say that my guest tonight for this video is a two-time national champion and one who certainly gives the men a run for the money in various classes over the years, with a great deal of success as well in men's and ladies racing and other ventures as well. So my guest tonight is Laura Blaber. Hello, Laura. How are you?
Yeah, fine, Russ. Thanks for interviewing me, and that I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I appreciate it coming more from you. As I've learned with doing the GrassChat videos, people tend to run away when they see the camera come nearby. Hopefully, it's not too bad tonight because you're expecting it. Not like when we're in the field and you're sort of busy trying to think of how your next race is going to go. So
yeah. Look, the wheel needs turning. Russ is turning up. The wheel needs changing. Let's go be busy, do something like that.
Yeah. So I appreciate this. I hope all is going well in your part of the world. I know you've been kept very busy with various things, but I hope everything is going as well as possibly can be for yourself and the family. And I'm sure, like everybody, you are excited and eager to get back racing, which hopefully will be one day sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back out because I haven't been out since last August when I rode the Class 9. So, looking forward to getting back out and try it out again. So
Yeah, obviously this extended winter is played into the hands of some people who haven't got a car ready yet. People are still getting cars ready, but when obviously you had an early end to the season and then you've put a lot of work in trying to get ready as soon as this season was ready to start. But unfortunately,
Lawrence put a lot of work into it. I just kind of supervise and make the cup of teas.
Well, tea making is a very important job, so it's equally as important. Okay, so as we have started with these sorts of videos, it's nice to look into your early views of Autograss. Was yours? Did you get into the sport through family, or did you basically find the sport by chance, or was there another way of how you actually discovered Autograss?
Well, my cousin and my uncle used to race. They had a Class 4, and I remember going to what was Weymouth then, because they raced at South Somerset when it was Weymouth Motor Club, and going to watch them. And they used to have bangers on at the same time. And I remember being like little, right, and the bangers would smash each other up, and then they come flying through the fence, and my mum or my dad pick me up running as this car comes flying towards you. And that's my early memories of Autograss, is running away from cars coming through the fence. And then they stopped that because they used to smash each other up. It'd take about half hour, 45 minutes to clear all the debris off the track.
Yeah.
But they started in Class 4, and then they had a Class 8 as well. And Neil Daniels used to keep his race cars at my dad and my uncle's farm. So, so that all stemmed from there. So, yeah.
Okay, so a slightly terrifying introduction, not to Autograss, but motorsport. So was there a thing about the sport which sort of grabbed you and made you that interested in wanting to do it in the future, or did you sort of, I don't know, was you a bit nervous to maybe have a go at it, or was there more excitement?
I was quite nervous because one of the first meetings I'd done was in a Class 1, and I always remember it's when I was down. We were at Henstridge on South Somerset's track, and the first meeting I'd done, I was driving, came across the line, and when a wheel comes off, it waits for you to see it, doesn't it? And then the car goes down. Well, that was my first race experience. I crossed the line and I saw the wheel go in front of me and thought, that's my wheel. And then the car went like that, and I really enjoyed it then. And I carried on with the Class 1, and I think my fourth meeting in the car, I rolled it. So
you really had quite an introduction then, on both sides of the fence.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's just how my racing career goes on.
Well, it's at least it's good that it didn't deter you at that early stage, and you did keep coming back for more. So when you are doing something for the first, like riding a bicycle, isn't it? You fall off countless times. It could either terrify you and you never want to get back on the bike, or you actually see the end result and think, no, I'm going to keep going. So it's great that obviously you didn't steer away from it, because who knows what else you've been doing with your weekends.
Yeah, I don't know what I'll be doing. Not much, probably.
No, I've always thought about this, like with obviously these current times, when what do we do on a weekend when there's no muddy field paddling around in? But yeah, it certainly made things interesting at this time. But no, it's great that you obviously continued on. So after your initial Class 1 experience, did you stick with Class 1, or was there another class which caught your eye early on, or did you just want to go?
I raced Class 1 for a few years, and then I shared a Class 5, front wheel drive Class 5, and then Ollie Howe came to me and said, do you want to do a Class 4? And we go halves, and I said, all right. So I sold the one, and then the Class 4 came along, and a great little car that was. I'd done 2 years in ladies with that. I won, I think the second year I won like the Bass Nationals and MAP. So I thought, well, it's time to go with the men, like, because there's no more you can do in that class. So then I'd done a year in the men's with the 4 as well. So
Okay, well, that's actually moving on to the next subject quite nicely, because I think I first actually saw you racing in the Class 4, and it was actually one of my favourite little Class 4s as well at the time. It was when I was younger, it was very colourful, and it was always at the front of the field or near the front, battling away. And so still then, with not a great deal of Autograss experience, you jumped in this Class 4, and things seemed to click much better than they did in the Class 1. And as we say, I looked it up, it was 2007 with the Class 4 in the Ladies Nationals. Did you expect to do so well? Or
no, I think that Class 4 final, we done about 20 odd laps. We started, that's when it was still 10-car grids, and we got down to 4 cars left. I think we were on about 5 reruns. And then when it came to the champion, I was done about 3 laps, and I was just tired, because trying to hold on to that car. She was a brilliant little car, and that's the first year we had it. It only had a little 1071 in it, and it had no rev limiter or nothing. Ollie just said, just rev it and just get going, right? And it was, a fantastic little car. It never blew up. It was brilliant.
Well, no, that's great if a car keeps going. But you did send me a video actually from that meeting, and we will share it with the rest of the Autograss world when we get round to it. But it was one of the heats from that Nationals, where the first 2 or 3 laps, everything that could have gone wrong virtually did. You ended up getting battered by other cars. You ended up on the infield at one point, but you actually came back through and won the race. So was that the race that weekend to give you the confidence that you could maybe go and win the final?
Well, actually, in that year, I actually got black flagged in the final.
Okay. Sorry about that. I thought it was the same year.
That was 2006. That was, I got done for jump start. That was before bungees. I was a bit too keen on the line. And that's the year. That's the year that Helen Granger rolled it on the last corner in the final.
Oh, was it? Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh well, my mistake. It gave you the confidence for the following year.
Well, the following year, in the, I can't remember, second or third heat, I got spun round and it blew the diff out, and it must have been the second heat, because we got it back in, and Ollie had the engine apart. Well, took the engine out, took all the gearbox off, and that we borrowed a gearbox off Endaf Owens and all that, and it had totally the wrong gearing. We weren't sure what it was going to do, and then I went out and won the third heat, and then won the final. Like, we had big wheels on it, which it's never run before, and then after about 20 million laps in the final, we came on and won it. So it was pretty good.
Obviously, it's everybody's ambition to win the final, but what was your thoughts, obviously, with achieving that goal? Did you seriously think you had that competitive chance, especially after the earlier problems? But what was the feelings, obviously, when you did take that win?
Oh, it was amazing, because after all the hard work they put in on Saturday night to fix that car, to get me back out, because I don't think no one expected me to be back out. And Ollie worked all night on the car to get me out, and you know, it was an amazing thing. It was like a big thank you to him for sorting the car out for me. And you know, it was, the poor little thing was battered to pieces. I like someone got at the back of it in the final. It was a hard fought final from 10 cars down to 4. You know, it was well,
you've got to survive to obviously have the chance, haven't you? So it certainly after all the hard work, it certainly makes the feeling even more special, I suppose. And when you get where it's also that true Autograss feeling as well, when so many people come together to help put the car back right, and then allow you to actually go out there and do it. So no,
that's one thing that's the thing with Autograss. There's always there people, like, you come in, if the car's falling to pieces or, you know, smashed up, there's always people there to come straight into the car to help you, ripping bits off and, you know, lending you stuff. It's a brilliant, you know, lovely racing. We've done a few other things, like Lawrence has done Comet Safari and that, and there's just not the people who aren't so willing to help you, not like in Autograss, you know. You know, when we done one, the first meeting we done in the Comet Safari, you know, Lawrence done the first couple of runs to get used to get used to it, and then he was getting quicker and quicker, and we ended up third overall on the day. Now I think there was about 20 odd vehicles there, and one bloke went up to him and said, you've done something else. And he said, yeah, I do Autograss. He said, well, that's only going round in circles. And he said, well, you know, it shows you it's not just going round in circles. You know, I think that's what a lot of people don't understand, isn't it?
No, there's certainly much more to it, and I think that's the annoying thing when you show somebody for the first time and they think it looks easy, because you supposedly just turn right occasionally and you press the front. But no, it is much more than that, and anybody at any level of the sport will say that. So it's great that it still surprises the outsiders to what Autograss really is. So we mentioned in a message the other day that obviously you mentioned you started off in Class 1, but you've also raced in Classes 4 and 5, but you've raced in far many more classes in that. You've actually almost ticked them all off. There's only Class 6 to go. But out of the classes that you have raced, then obviously you've raced in times have been different. So a car which you could have raced the Class 4 obviously back then would be way different to what a current Class 4 is now. But what would your favourite class have been that you have raced? Obviously, racing the different ones.
I've enjoyed all of them. You can't beat the sound of the Chevys. I love my Chevys. I'm trying to kick Lawrence out the one we got now, but he won't have it. You know, I love the sound of the Chevy, and you always come back in with a smile on your face. The Chevys you've got to know how to drive them. Anyone could jump in one, but you've got to know how to drive them right, if you know what I mean. They're not as forgiving as the bike engines and stuff. You have got to be, you know, this is what I found the difference with the 9 to the Chevy. You know, like, it's just like remembering to change gear. You know, I hadn't had to do that for 7 years, and reading the start line. You know, normally I just look at it and go, oh yeah, just plow through it, the Chevy. Whereas with the 9, I've had to look, oh, it's a bit wet there, so I'll change the gear, and it's a bit more. But you know, I liked all my cars, even the Class 2 we had. I loved that car. You know,
which you sort of jumped in for a laugh anyway, and it provided many laughs along the way. And you even got some results out of it, which made it even better. But
all these people spending loads of money, and I turn up with our 550 quid car. You know, it's brilliant.
But that brings back what the sport actually is all about. And yes, we can all spend money on cars, and we all want to win, but you seem to still enjoy the sport for what it is, which is a hobby on a weekend and a bit of fun. So that's great. Obviously you still enjoy that aspect of it. Obviously it does get to a serious level when we contest the major events, Nationals, BAS, UK, Map Open, all those types of meetings. It is all very serious, but at the end of the day, you want to go home having enjoyed the weekend as a whole, and then it's back to Monday to the next week.
That's
So
good.
yeah. So we go back in time a little bit now because you actually went back into Class 5 for a couple of years, was it?
Yeah, yeah. About a year and a half I had it. I had it half. Well, I had it. What year? Hang on, I got my photos up there. What year did I have it? 2009 I had it. And that was about halfway through. Yeah, about I had it first time at Nationals at 2009 at St. Neots.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the picture.
But then you came to the 2010 Nationals at Scunny, and in all fairness, I don't think many expected the result to go your way that year. With I'm sure you'll agree, so many top ladies racing in Class 5s then and
Yeah,
now.
that's
So to come through that must have been a bit of a shocker to win that one, was it?
Yeah, it was a shock. I knew I had to when me and Nicola were joint top qualifiers, and it was Dan, Toyn Cost who had grid 1 basically, and I knew as long as I had grid 1, I could keep them out, and then hopefully just keep a nice tight line, and then and go on and win it. But the first run of the final, I ended up on Danielle Phillips' bonnet, and I thought, oh God, I'm going to get black flag this time. But and then we were all back out, and just got out in front, kept my head down, and went on and won it. I couldn't believe it, and as well we sold the car, and so it was a nice fitting finish to win it, and the car was gone as well, like that car was built by James Winter, so so not a big name person, but
No, but it shows that any car can win as long as it's treated right. So what made you decide that you wasn't going to stay in 5s then? Because obviously you only had it for a couple of years, but and you say that you'd actually sold the car before that nationals even happened. So what actually made you decide that Class 5 feeling not for you, and you thought no, we need to try something else, or
yeah, we had the 8 at the same time. We had an 8 at the same time as that. I never had really much luck in finals in the Class 8. I make the finals and then just had no luck. It was, I don't know, we just thought we'd try something different. We always fancied a 7, but then it was like, well, what do we have? We didn't want to go down like everyone having big singles or twins.
Yeah.
So and then the Chevy come up, to buy the bits, and that's why really, we were sort of debating, what to do with it, and then we thought, well, we'll have a 7, It's like a lot of things when I the Chevy pickup 7, someone offered me good money for the car, so she had to go, like so.
Everything's for sale.
Yeah, that's it. Everything's for sale. I was heartbroken, but she had to go.
Yes. Well, that actually sort of starts to bring us along to your Class 7 years. Obviously, I remember when the car was debuted, it was absolutely stunning to look at the Cinquecento with the Chevy in. Did you? I might be wrong, but did you actually start off racing with ladies in that car, or did you jump straight into race against the men? I can't quite recall.
Yeah, I'd done 2 years with the ladies.
Okay.
Yeah, because Lawrence was racing it as well at the same time. We had a bit of trouble with it at the start with the engine block cracked or something. We had a few troubles, but the first year I still, even though I think that's when all the bash rounds counted, and I still finished second in the bash, so I was really chuffed with that. And Lawrence was racing it. He made a couple of finals in it as well. So and then I had it to myself the year after, because he had a foot operation.
Yes.
So she was a good car.
So obviously then you've raced against both men's and ladies. What did you make of racing against the men in Class 7?
Yeah, you just got to put it in the door a bit, just don't let them push you about. I've always said to ladies, if they want to come in the men, you've got to race your car twice as hard than the men do, because they won't want to be beaten by you, and I've had them push me out the way, spin me around, because they don't want to be beaten, And you know, I'm really lucky because like Lawrence gave up the seat, and you know, he's very supportive. You know, and he, you know, a lot of blokes wouldn't do that, give it up for their wife to drive it, and the men.
Yeah, of
You
course.
know.
Of course, in case you showed him up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you went to race against the men in the sevens. Did you find it difficult at first, or did you find you could settle in fairly well as long as you held your own, or did you really think you had to up your game that much?
I had to up my game quite a bit. Like it was, you know, I always sort of made quite a bit up with the ladies on the start because no disrespect to the ladies, they do back out of the first corner quite a bit, and that's what I used to make up in ladies. If I had a bad start, I keep my foot in a bit longer than most of them, and you know, I was used to racing class 4 of the men, even though I'd done a year, so I knew what I was kind of expecting. You know, I had to, you know, you got to show them that you're not there just to make up the numbers, you are there to race. And sometimes you do have to put it in the door a bit to say, no, don't mess with me, you know, just to show that you're there, you're not intimidated, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, there's a definitely no disrespect to any ladies racer out there, because there are some fantastic drivers in all classes, and it has been seen on many occasions that the ladies are equal, sometimes better than the men. There has been many successes by the females against the men at all levels of meetings. Probably one of your standout moments, though, came, I can't remember the year, I'm sure you will remember better than me, but was it the Border County Super Shootout?
Yeah.
When, the track was made for the Chevy, really, but you still drive it, and you went out and took the big win against, all in fairness, the more fancied runners. So that must have been a great feeling in itself, was it? Maybe even like success.
Yeah, I was I was in tears because I just made the final. I was so happy to make the final. There's a bit of a backstory because I wasn't really going to do that meeting because of Ladies Nationals weekend after, and Lance talked me into it. He said, Laura, you stand a chance. I was like, no, I can't. You know, if something happens to the car and I can't get it repaired, you know, that's when Nationals messed up. And Alfie was there, Alfie Smith, and he said, Laura, if you can't get your car repaired, I'll take mine so you can race that at Nationals. I was like, okay. Okay. So yeah, and then, you know, I was getting, I think in the runoff, so I was having seconds and stuff, and I was like, and then when I had second in the heat before the final, the semis, and I came in, I was in tears. I was so happy just to make the final, like, and then the car just got me out in front, and you know, I just thought, keep your foot in. And then I was thinking, oh my God, keep your foot in, and then I went out wide, and I thought, oh my God, I wouldn't use the exact word I said, but I messed up. And then to cross that line, like, oh, it's amazing, like, and everyone's there cheering. I was in tears because, like, you know, if I win anything big, I just cry.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it was, that was brilliant. And I always enjoy racing at Border Counties, and definitely in the Chevys, because you can just put your foot down and not have to think how to drive it, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I mean, there's definitely some more old school style tracks in the West Midlands which suit those types of cars. So, but you've still got to work it. You've still got to drive the car at the end of the day. Did any of the other drivers in the race come up to you and say anything, or did they shy away because a lady had beaten?
No. Phil come up to me as he drove past, like, well done, you know, and Bentley said, I've never been behind a lady that drove so quick like that. You know, they were all pretty, you know, they were all good, you know, considering.
Well, no.
You know, they didn't come out with excuses like they normally do.
The race is actually, I think, on YouTube somewhere, and I'm sure you've watched it back many times. Obviously, great memories from driving a great car. So pleased that you had some good times in it. Now, though, you're in Class 9, and you decide to jump straight in against the men. I'm pretty sure guessing the reasons why behind that is because you've obviously had so much experience now racing against the men, but obviously also ladies racing in specials, apart from eights at club level, is very poor, which is sad to see. And it's the same as that in most classes. I said to Claire Horner, I think there's only really classes 1 and 8 where you get any, and maybe 2 where you get any form of support at a club meeting. Because obviously when qualifiers are happening, the ladies don't want to risk the cars for the men and things like that. So race at the early meetings because of qualifiers, and then later on in the year, everybody's so busy with the major events that the club meetings don't get the support. So I'm guessing there was really no option to race against the ladies in Class 9, and it was straight in to the men. You say that the car felt a lot easier and more comfortable to drive than the 7.
Yeah.
But would you say, was the Class 9 maybe the easiest car to get settled in out of the ones you've driven, especially in the latter years?
Yeah, she, because I've been racing rear-wheel drive now for quite a few years, and when I jumped in at Breeden Hill, that was straight into a qualifier, and and I was actually quite surprised because by how quick it was, because it's 200 horsepower less than what I'm used to, and I said to Lawrence at the time, I said, "Oh, it's really quick," and I said, "It surprised me." He said, "Well, don't underestimate the little Vauxhall," and it did surprise me, and I really enjoyed it. It was so easy to drive. I wasn't never fighting the Chevy, but you had to hold on, if you know what I mean. And
of course.
Whereas with the 9, it's a lot lighter.
Yeah, there is that weight difference between the car. I mean, you've still got some weight on the back of you, but not quite as much as what the Chevy is. And don't underestimate Class 9s, because I would love another one. But,
no, I've really enjoyed it. I think it's one of the most underestimated classes in Autograss. Everyone going on Class 9 and walk off. I used to do that, but I wouldn't now. I really enjoy it.
Good. So last year was your first year in the class, was it?
Yes.
So did you set yourself any initial targets? Obviously, was it maybe to just make a final at a Baz round or something? Or did you think straight away, we can mix it with them and we can get the results?
Yeah, I wanted to make a final in the Bass and try to qualify for nationals, but I had a bit of problems, and because my first race was a qualifier, and I had a few problems. So, and then I had some other problems somewhere else. Lawrence sorted it all out. So I just go, "Oh, it's a problem," and you sort it out for me. And but I wanted to make a Bass final. So I'd done that at the first British round. I was absolutely shocked by that, to make the first one. And then I made the final at Penal as well. Or Gloucester League, I think, was running it. And I was leading the first run of the final. And I think the marshals on the post heard my words in the cab, because I just took the last lap flag and they red flagged it and re-ran the whole thing. I still got second, which I was pretty chuffed with. But
when you were so close, it's obviously
so close. There was some very blue language in the cab of the car. But I thought, after I made that final at Down, I thought, right, I want to get a trophy next time. Not. I did the same with the 7. I thought, right, I want to make, if I can, make a final in men's 7, which is hard enough, which I did at Come D. And you just set yourself little targets, and
of course.
Well, next year, not this year. Now it'll be next year. I want to try to make a couple more, finals.
Of course. That was actually going to bring me on to the next question. Then you sound like you set yourself sensible targets. Obviously, everybody wants to win, but you would obviously go to next year and you say, right, I want to qualify for the nationals. Right, I want to be consistently in the finals in the Baz. Is that what you are setting yourself for 2021?
Yeah. I just want to, consistently be at the front, in the top 4, and try to get into a few more finals, big finals and that. I don't know whether we'll be doing MAP, because normally we go to American Speed Festival that weekend. So, here's some V8s, the Euro NASCARs are over. So, can't miss that. So I want to make a few more finals, and the thing next year, because Cara start racing in 2 years' time,
Really?
So Yeah, it's frightening. Yeah,
That's
she's
got
starting
strong,
2 years
doesn't
old.
it?
Yeah. So we got a micro already. So Lauren's going to take her out in the field next year to get her, you know, just driving the car around. My stepdaughter Becca will be starting, if we, you know, start this year. She'll be starting this year in the class 1 as well. So yeah.
Right, exciting times then, and not
Yeah.
just for, well, it'll probably turn from excitement to more nerves, and probably nerves you've not recognised before.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's great that you've got yourself set some targets for yourself. But we're gonna actually finish off by going to a different side of things now, away from the racetrack. Was it at the end of last year you opened up a new business for
Yeah.
yourself, Mrs. B's Animal Feed? So
Yeah.
was this a thing you have been involved in before, and you've ventured out onto your own, or is this something you have always wanted to really do, but now the time has been that chance?
Yeah. Well, I worked where the shop is. I've worked there for it was coming up 9 years, and then I ran it for the owners, and they were in their late 60s, 70s, and they wanted to retire, so they offered it to me to take it on. So, and it was at the right time. So yeah, I took it on and started it up in September, and I hate to say, like, with all this going on, everyone went crazy buying animal food, you know, and you know, it's been really busy. I compare layers pellets to the toilet roll of the feed industry, because it was just crazy. I sold a ton, which is 50 bags within 2 hours. So you know, that normally lasts me a week. That just shows
Well,
you.
no.
Yeah.
No,
But
that's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
yeah, it's been really busy and good, so I can't complain. So
Good. Well, I hope in both business and Autograss life, things continue to go well for yourself, and of course Lawrence and the rest of the family. That pretty much brings it. So I think we're almost out of time. So I thank you so much, Laura, for sharing so much from your Autograss life, and a little bit of what the future holds. So is there anybody you want to say a quick thank you to?
well, it's Lawrence, really, because he does so much on the car. I come in and go, it's making a funny noise, and then he has to work out what's making a funny noise. I'm not very good at it. No, he does so much work on the cars. Like, he's brilliant. Like, and like my mum and dad, and you know, I wouldn't be able to do it without them. You know, and looking after car, it's, you know, it is a real family. You know, it is a family sport. So you know,
That's great. That's great.
and I think everyone wants to thank you, Russ, for doing, you know, this grass chat. I think it's keeping everyone going during the, you know, all this lockdown and that. It's been brilliant.
Well,
And the quizzes.
I thank you all so much for being pleased with what I do, and it helps me keep doing it. So that's it. Thank you so much, Laura Blaber. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. I wish, obviously, everything to continue to go strongly for yourself and the family. And very soon, hopefully, we will see you somewhere in an Autograss field doing what we all love doing. So thank you, Laura. We say goodbye. So thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Russ.